Then I move into the system. I'm not demoing it in the system today, but this is how it looks like. It will be very easy for you to find your compensation sheet. You go into my flow, choose my team, and then workforce compensation here in the out of these squares that you see on your first page. Workforce compensation should be visible, and it will bring you to a page that looks like this. It will say Oras merit increase round 25 at the upper left corner. And then there's something called managed budgets there as well, but you don't have to worry about that. But there's a sheet or a link called compensation. And so you click on that. And then a very busy slide. I'll walk you through this. But this is about making the actual proposal for your own team. So first of all, at the top of the page, you will see currency. So you can either work on the sheet with the worker local currency or in euro. And at the top, you will always see also a button that says save. So you can always save your work and return to it later. Below that, you will see your budget. This budget row will always be visible in euro, even if you change the rest of the sheet to the local worker currency, the budget will be shown in euro. And then on top of this actual sheet, you will also have a selection for whether you're looking at all of the workers below you or just your own direct reports. So here, when you're making a proposal for your own team, just choose the direct reports and you can work on your own proposal. But if you want to look at your entire organization, if you have several layers below yourself, then you can use with all workers or some of the other selections that are there. And then comes the actual sheet. You will see that there are white columns and blue columns. The blue columns are the ones where you enter data. You can enter your proposals either in percentage of eligible salary or compensation amount in euros. This will be in the annual compensation, and this is the second one is the monthly compensation. You can use any one of these columns, and the other ones will fill automatically. So if you put in 1% into the monthly salary, you will see the impact on the yearly salary, or vice versa. And of course, the percent will always be the same. Then what else is here? You will, of course, see the base salary, the new salary, the annualized, the multiplier. How does the monthly salary get converted into a yearly salary and so on? I think the headers are pretty self-explanatory. I did want to point out that the salary range low is the 75% point that I mentioned that the salary should not. Unless there's a good reason, let's say that it's a trainee who doesn't have an education yet, then we can be below that. But as a general principle, we stay above this mark. Then you see the compensation ratio with the old salary and with the proposal that you have just made. And unfortunately, the performance overall rating will not be here. First of all, we are nowhere near ready with them in our Solarforce system yet. There's quite a few of them missing. And secondly, we didn't find a feasible way to upload it here. Next time when we do this, you will see that here. So that's the sheet that you use to work with your proposal, and you can always see here on the available budget how much money you have left. And again, don't worry if it doesn't go on 0 or not to mention minus. Then this is maybe a little bit different from before and important to understand. So when you save your changes, your manager will already see those entries, but you can still change them. So even if you save them, it's not submitted, it's not official, but your manager can see them. That means that that's the best time to align your proposal with your manager. You can also submit it for approval, which happens by saving your previous sheet, and then you end up back on the sheet where you were initially. There's a button called Submit for Approval, and then you can put in a comment. I have made my proposal. Please note that this and X, Y, and Z, and the manager will get a notification. The manager will then approve or reject the proposal, and if they reject, then it's of course good to have a conversation. And for the second level manager, we always recommend not to make the changes directly into the sheet, but rather send the sheet back and have the responsible manager make the changes and submit the approval for approval again. Then it's always clear where you are in the process. If you do need to make changes after you have submitted your approval, you can withdraw the worksheet and then make it again and send again for approval. But you can avoid that if you just use the save, have your manager check it, and then submit for approval, as you like. The grant parent approval then works as follows. So let's say that I have Ola in my team, and she has subordinates. She has made the proposal, which was on the previous page, and she has now pressed submit for approval. I get a notification that looks like this, and it says approval of Ora's merit increase. I then open the notification. I can see if there's any comments where the number 2 arrow is, and there's a link to the actual proposal where it says workforce compensation, where the number 3 is. If I haven't checked it before with my subordinate, I would click on this link and see what the proposal is. And if I agree with it, I can approve it. If I don't agree with it, then I reject and send it back with comments. And again, the system will allow you to make changes directly in the sheet, but we do not recommend to do that. It's far more clear for everybody involved if you reject and have the respective manager make the proposal again. And maybe as the last thing then, for those of you who have more layers than 2 below you, the basic principle is that everyone takes care of their own direct reports by making the proposal initially, and their direct reports subordinates by approving it. If one needs to, let's say if Johan finds something 3 or 4 levels below him that he would like to have corrected, then it's better that the respective manager withdraws their own proposal, makes the change, and submits it again. But that is a very unlikely scenario, I hope. And also I, as a compensation administrator, I can do that. But that happens very rarely, so I wouldn't worry about that. So the main concern is own subordinates and their subordinates. I'm going to propose the following. You're welcome to post questions to the chat. I will hand over to Katri in a little bit, and I will be responding to those questions in the chat now or after the meeting. And I will also make sure that in the guidance that we then put into the sensor page on this, I will address those questions. Virpi.
Hi, very good and clear presentation. I could find my team information, but is there a place where I can see my grading?
No, that's a very good question. So the way it works is that you can see your team's grading, but you cannot see your own or the salary position.
And this also indicates and gives a hint that these information are confidential information for you as managers, which you shouldn't share one-to-one with your direct reports.
Yeah. And one of the main reasons for that is that the compensation ratio is not something that stays the same over years. The benchmark data, it's always just an indication, a hunch of where we are on the market. It's not like it's always very consistent. So it's not good if we carve it on stone.